Welcome to the Sober Barkeep. I'm Brian Anderson, coming to you from Anderson's Guitar Bar here in a lovely Lake City, Texas. So it's Thursday. We're gonna do a drink, and I got thinking. It's my wife and I are both big into birding. We like bird watching. It sounds really boring, but it's not. It's kind of cool. And right now, there's a lot of birds during fall migration coming back through the Texas Gulf Coast, and one of them's the White Pelican. We don't see it during the summer, but during the winter months, it shows up down here, and we see quite a few of them. And so I was looking around, and I saw a drink called White Pelican. I thought, well, let's do it. Let's give it a shot. So we're going to do White Pelican. The other thing I noticed is when I looked at the ingredients, I was trying to figure out how I want to make it because it's a gin-based drink, and there are tons of different good, great, fantastic gins. When I looked at it, all the ingredients can be covered by the Liars line, so I decided we'll just make this an entire Liars drink here and look at it from that standpoint. So the first thing it calls for, this is not a shaken drink, it's a stirred drink. So we're going to use a mixing cup with ice in it already, and it calls for 1.5 ounces of gin. So we're going to use the London Dry, the Liars London Dry. So there's 1.5 ounces of the Liars. Okay. Next, it calls for a half ounce of the dry vermouth. And so the dry aperitif, or aperitif dry, we'll use a half ounce of that. Sounding a lot like a gin martini at this point, and it really kind of basically is. Then it calls for a 1/4 ounce of the sweet vermouth. So aperitif rosso is their sweet vermouth. So we're going to do a 1/4 ounce of that, which is not very much, but this is where it kind of deviates a little bit from your classic gin based martini, because gin-based martinis typically have the dry vermouth in it and not much of the sweet, if at all. And so this gives it just a little bit of touch, just slightly different than you would have in your normal gin martini. We're going to stir this up really good, because that's the way what it calls for. And then it calls to strain this into a cocktail glass, and we're going to go with a little martini glass here. Get this on there so don't make a gigantic mess while I'm doing this. So I'm going to strain this in, and you end up with something that looks like a martini with just a little bit of color in it. That's a tasty little drink right there. The interesting thing is, if this was alcoholic, that would be a pretty strong drink, because it's all beverages that all spirits, and gin typically clocks in about 40% alcohol. These would clock in around anywhere from 25 to 30% alcohol. So this would be a pretty strong drink. These are non-alcoholic, 0 alcohol. This is a great alternative. Now, it doesn't have the burn that you would have in a gin martini, but it's nice. Kind of a nice, crisp. And what I like, I'm not a big gin martini fan, because there's just too much in there. I like both of these products, but together they just almost, I don't know how to describe it. The sweetness, just the touch of sweetness that this adds really opens this thing up. I really like it. You got some Liars products out there you want to try? You want to try something? Want to add a little sweetness to your martini? Yeah, it's a good non-alcoholic martini for you. Sober Barkeep. Live on, drink smart.